if you're not making any money, you don't have money to pay anybody, and people keep coming to work, people will want their money. And there's actually a time frame that they can actually, like, take it. There's a limit to how long they will take not getting paid, and
Exactly.
you're
Still paying. Yeah.
getting to work on time, having to pay your trip to work and all of that, and you need to feed a parent, and a whole lot of things like that. So why are we working when you are not given? So there's always a time frame for even the workers to tell you, I'm not coming again. So it's it's both ways. It's
Right, exactly. So I'm gonna move and leave that quadrant and go to the self-employed quadrant to talk about the advantages and disadvantages. Being self-employed, the advantage is the flexibility that you get. You get to control your own schedule. I mean, think of an Uber driver. They can go driving whenever they want, wake up whenever they want. Nobody's writing them a pink slip because they showed up to work late. So they have that flexibility. They could go watch soccer with their child and then after soccer practice, go back to driving, right? So they have
Mhm.
that flexibility of schedule of their time. And also, to a certain extent, they have the flexibility of income. You meet an Uber driver who makes 5,000, there's another one that makes eight, nine. Because that was the one making nine is like in the car 24 hours, always driving around. Maybe not 24 hours. I think Uber has a 12-hour limit, right? So they have a little bit of flexibility with the income and the time. Those are the advantages. But the disadvantage is there's no leverage, right? When you stop working, your income stops. When you go to sleep, your income goes to sleep. Right? But when you go on vacation, your income goes on vacation. Literally, you don't get nothing because you're not there to drive Uber or to, be a hairstylist. You're not making hair, so you're not making money. So those are the disadvantages of being self-employed. Now let's go to business owner. I mean, I'm not going to downplay owning a business. It's not for the faint-hearted, right? That's why you're gonna see when something is not easy, you're not gonna see a lot of people there. But if you do become successful, it is the most rewarding,
Yeah.
right? A business owner who becomes successful is gonna be rewarded more than someone who never took any risk, right? The greater the risk, the higher the potential for, success, right?
Yeah.
So being a business owner, you will have to take a lot of risk. And it depends on where you are in your life. Some people may be at a place where it's going to be extremely inconvenient to take any risk. And when I say extremely inconvenient, there's still some people who will be going through exactly what you're going through, and they're still going to be showing up and trying to build a business. So there really is no excuse. At the end of the day, when there's a will, there's a way, right? But
Yeah.
but some people are legitimately not in a conducive space in their life to take risk. While I don't believe that such thing exists, it's legitimate. You could just have twins today and then you want to start a business tomorrow. You just had twins. What if you're a single mom with twins? It's not very conducive, right? But maybe you can do one thing for 30 minutes a day that would add up over the days and the weeks and the months to you building your business by the time your twins are one, right? You just take an hour a day to do one thing, right? Just 1 hour to do something, right? And you'll be surprised, how much you can get or how far you can go. So that's what I mean by not in a conducive space in their life to build a business because of the risk that is involved in building a business. And so I'm starting now with disadvantages when it comes to business owner. Another disadvantage is, I mean, yes, the free enterprise system controls your income, right? Your just being out there controls your income. And for some people, they may not see that as stable, but being in business for 12 years full time, the only job an entrepreneur has is to get their product in front of as much people as they possibly can. That's the only job you have. Because even for a bad product, not that people should make bad products, but even for a bad product, Miss Olujoke, if you get it in front of as many people as possible, someone's gonna buy. All right. Before I came on this Zoom today, I Googled what is the fast food that's the most profitable fast food chain. It's McDonald's. Miss Ujoke, if you have kids, they can make better McDonald's burger than McDonald's. You know what I'm saying, right? Like your nephew, your niece, the babies, they can make better burgers than McDonald's. because it's not even healthy. You wouldn't want to feed it to yourself or even to family. But sometimes when we're in the grind, it's like, hey, I need something to just eat. You like, I guarantee you, most people who are listening to this podcast, they have had better burgers than what McDonald's produces, but they're the highest, most profitable in the fast food industry. At least I looked up the most recent stats I could find was 2023. But they were beating number two by double. They were beating Starbucks by double, almost double, 58 million versus like 28 million, something like that. By double. They're beating number two by double. And the reason why is because they have the most locations. They show their products to the most people every single day. So the job of an entrepreneur is to get your product in front of as many people as possible every single day. So if someone's telling me, oh, if you're in a business, what if you don't make money? You haven't showed it to enough people. You only showed it to people in your Instagram and your social media and your WhatsApp. You haven't showed it to everyone in your city. You haven't showed your product to everybody in your state. So your job every day is to get your product in front of as many people as possible. Your services, get it in front of, show the world what you do. Someone's gonna buy. You're gonna be profitable. You'd be surprised, right? Ask McDonald's. They have the most locations for fast food. They get that product before you pass any other fast food chain. You would have passed McDonald's fast food chain multiple times before you get to the next fast food chain restaurant. Right? They show it to the most people every single day. So, like I said, some people may say a disadvantage is what if you don't make money? It's because you haven't. It's a numbers game, Mr. Okay? It's not a great burger, even though you should improve and be innovative and try to make your product better and your services better. It's still a numbers game, right? At the end of the day, right? So that's just that. I'm looking for advantages, the obvious ones: financial freedom, being able to walk away, still make money in your sleep, your dreams, you're dead, you're alive, passing down to your family, generational wealth, right? Your generations and generations after you can still be profitable or profiting from what you created by just waking up with a single idea or a single service or product. Your kids, they're gonna remember Mrs. Olujoke, the great matriarch of the family because you started a business, right? You can't pass a job down to your family. You can't say, "Oh, my kids is gonna inherit this job." They say, "Who's your father? How did you get here?" Right? No, okay. So, I mean, obvious advantages: financial freedom, not being there, making money, being able to do what you want to do. Some people, their joy is to go to Africa, preach the gospel, and start buildings, create jobs, stimulate the economy, give to charity, build wells, help stimulate the economy, create opportunities for people. You cannot be at a job doing that. You need time, and you may even want to be present. Like, I'm a hands-on person. Like, I want to be there when we're doing all these things to stimulate the economy. I don't want to be absent. You need time for that, and then you need money. So how are you going to be at a job doing all of that? It's like
Yeah.
frustrating, right? So that's just that obvious advantage with being a business owner. With investor, obviously, there's always a downtime in the economy. There's always a downtime in the market, stocks, bonds. There's going to be someone making a bad decision on different levels, either on political levels or economic levels. Someone's always doing something wrong that is making the stock dip. But there is stock or investment knowledge, or even just knowledge in the investment world, that allows investors to stay profitable. And if we can continue to do our homework and grow as investors, we can always make sure that we're in a good position when it comes to investing and constantly staying profitable. And a lot of, in my experience, what I see people do wrongly with being investors is they do it the reverse. And that's really because of social media. But when the stock is down, what people are supposed to be doing is buying, because everybody likes to buy something on sale, right? So if the stock is down, that means before that stock was $500, but because it's down now, it's $50. We should all be buying at $50. But what the population's general public majority is doing is selling, right? So
Yeah.
that's a lack of investment knowledge. And then when the market is high, people are excited, they're saying it on news, and people start buying. But no, when it's high, you should be profiting for what you bought at the low price. right? So it's just the lack of knowledge, just like the word says, my people perish for lack of knowledge, right? So it really is when it comes to the investment world. If you can get your knowledge together, you won't be experiencing all the disadvantages that comes with the down market. You actually understand how to work it to your own advantage. And just like the business owner, the investor has financial freedom. Don't have to show up, don't have to be there, don't have to spend time on it, and you're still profitable, whether you're awake, asleep, dead, you've been dead for years or whatever, So that's just that. I hope I was able to answer some of your questions.
Yes, thank you so much for that. So let's quickly go to the role of technology or innovation in driving economic growth and prosperity. What special role is that playing in such field?
A lot. I mean, being an entrepreneur, you want to, like I said, get in front of as much people as possible. Like, get in front of so much people. So, what technology does is it helps you get that done faster. And if you can get that done faster, you can make more in a short period of time. You can be more profitable, right? You can help more people out. You can have more, even more employees, because those employees, they're not going to take their money and bury it under their bed or or somewhere in the ground. They're going to put it back and reinvest back in the economy and stimulate other businesses and just kind of have the economy buzzing, right? Because they're investing back what you paid them. So technology is very important. But one thing I see, maybe even, I mean, I'm trying to say is be politically correct, but more mature business owners, so meaning people who may be older or just don't want to learn something new, may lose out on more profit by not trying to, indulge in technology and be innovative. And they're like, oh, I've been doing my business this way. It's okay. No, you could probably make more if you, add technology in there, and leverage technology. If you were getting to 10 clients before, with proper leveraging of technology, you can get to 10 clients a minute if you were doing it every week.
Yeah.
You get to 10 clients. Now you can do it every minute, right? You make more, and this is more money back in the economy. I don't know if that answers your question. I can go
Yes,
a little
please.
deeper.
I'm actually, we're running out of time, and I would like to quickly ask that. I have two questions to ask. The first one is, how can people have a mindset shift from each of those quadrants to be able to work towards financial freedom? And then the second one is, how can we balance the need for financial security with the desire for financial freedom? I would want you to quickly ask.
I think the mindset shift, a lot of people say they want to start their own business. A lot of people say, yes, I want to be an entrepreneur. But when you peel back the onion, there's a deep conditioning embedded in us for instant gratification. We
Mhm.
want to go to work today and get paid, even today, if it's possible, this week. Like, I don't want to invest in any business. I don't want to invest my time. I just want to go to work and make money today. So, because of that conditioning of instant gratification, most people, even though they say they want to build a business, they don't end up building a business. So, something really has to happen at the core of that person where they're very clear that what's priority is to head in the direction of building a business. And for a lot of people, I'm so sorry to say this, they never get there. They want to build a business all their life, but they're 65 and haven't built it. And nobody shows up late, by the way. If you're still alive, you could be a 70-year-old person, invent or start a business at 70, become a millionaire at 70 and a half, a billionaire at 71. Literally, things, nobody shows up late. It's just that one single decision it's a deep thing that has to happen, because sometimes motivation or inspiration, I could say something on this call, it's not going to cut deep enough, right? Motivation and inspiration may not cut deep enough because it's years of conditioning. We go to school, the teachers are saying when you get a job. Excuse me, I never said I wanted to get a job, right? I never said that. What if when I want to start a business? But because the teachers have been at a job for so long, they don't even project that. It's like they're just creating like an assembly line of employees to go into the economy and work for people who are awake to this kind of mindset or thinking. So I think it's just a lot of deconditioning, if there's a word like that. Like they have to
Just
rewire
to
your mind, your
calibrate your
brain,
mind.
your spirit
Yeah.
to be able to really get that mindset shift. And I think a couple of things that can help us get there is just reading a lot of books about entrepreneurs. Dive into self-development, read the books that entrepreneurs wrote. Don't read the books that employees wrote. Read the books that investors wrote. Don't read the books that employees wrote, right? So, and then just try to work on your mind by reading these books, invest in professional knowledge to help you change your mind, and go get a mentor that has what you have. Problem is, we're always trying to take business advice from people who don't own a business. Go get a mentor that has the type of business and life you have, and go shadow them as they're doing, you to do your own, right? So you can get what they have, right? So that's just that in terms of mindset shift. That was the last question. What's the last question you asked me?
Financial security in for the desire to build financial freedom.
Okay, so how do I say it? Nothing grows in its comfort zone. If a
Mm.
child is growing, they're gonna start getting teeth. They're gonna get into some, stages where they're in pain, right? So everything that is growing has to go through some type of pain. And I think everything we want in life is on the other side of the pain that we're not willing to go through. Yeah. So as long as someone can, even if you have to plan, save some money while you're at your job, your secure job, save some money. So when you start your business, whether you save 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50,000, that's not that you're investing in your business, right? But that you just have to fall back on for however long it takes for your business to pick up, right? And
Mm.
then you're working on your business uninterruptedly because you know you have money saved that can still support you until you get it up and running. But I mean, people who are afraid to take risks will never start a business. And I think that as long as we can face the reality that there's no such thing as security at the end of the day, if you want to feel secure, okay, go save some money. And when you save that money, go work in your business uninterruptedly until it works. If you're a mad woman like me, you have nothing saved, then you start a business regardless. You're like, hey, what's the worst that can happen? I'll figure it out. If I gotta hit someone's couch, a bunch of millionaires and billionaires and successful people had to, they had to ride people's couches for a while until
Mhm.
they got it done. So let's not be afraid to take the risk. I hope that answered your question a little bit.
Thank you so, so much. That was actually a great way. People should just get it done. Risk is actually the life of any investment, whether you want to become an investor or a business owner or even self-employed, it's still risk because something must go for something to come in. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate you. I thank you so much for coming on the show. I wish we had so much time, but we gotta go. Thank you
Thank you
once
so
again.
much
I
for
appreciate
having me. Thank you.
it.
God bless you.
And to you out there, thank you too for being part of the show. I hope you've learned one or two things. And in case you have questions, you can always send it in and we'll pass it on to her. Thank you once again and be good.